Previous summer, I felt like West Ham should have signed a striker. Competition for Michail Antonio, cover for Michail Antonio if or when he got injured. And there's plenty of names out there, and it's often you get asked when you do the channel, well, who should we sign? And it's difficult because I'm just an opinionated Scotsman on a webcam. I'm not a football scout. David Moyes claimed that all the strikers he was after was either too expensive or simply unavailable. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the names we're linked with, the likes of Tammy, Patson, Daka. They've moved clubs in the summer, so we're going to have a look at how much they moved for and how they've got on at their new club, and if West Ham have perhaps missed a trick with one or two of them. With the benefit of hindsight, of course. Anyway, starting with the one I would have liked to West Ham to have signed the most. If you said to me, Gio, what striker would you like at West Ham in the summer? It was Edouard. Celtic player Edouard. He moved to Crystal Palace for 14 million. And I think he's been absolutely fantastic so far. He came onto the scene really quickly at Selhurst Park and became an immediate hero, if you like, coming off the bench against Tottenham, scoring a couple of goals. He's been fantastic. They've got a fantastic song for him as well. I'm not going to sing it. It's Stone Moses. I want to be adored, but change the word adored. I want to be Edouard. That one. Anyway, apologies for the bad singing. But I think he's been brilliant at Selhurst Park so far. He's not even occupying his sort of number 10 role. Benteke's still got that. He's sort of playing to the side of Benteke, a bit like Zaha does. But I think he's brilliant. I think he's such a fantastic player. And for 14 million, I think Palace have got a real bargain there. He just fits the way that Patrick Vieira is trying to play at Selhurst Park exceptionally well. You know, him and Gallagher in particular have gone in. Instant fan favourites, understandably so. And I think we've missed a little bit of a trick there. But I guess the problem is we don't know if West Ham had any money to spend on a striker, or if so, how much or how little. 14 million, it seems cheap, and it is cheap in this day and age. For a Premier League striker, 14 million is almost punt money, isn't it? We've signed a Jetty for 9 million for context. But, like I said, it's easy to sit here and say, we'll just spend the 14 million. It's not quite that straightforward, is it? Anyway, one player we were linked to, I had never heard of before we were linked to him, and that was Boulaye Dia. And guess what? Still haven't heard of him. Well, I have. But he's disappeared off the radar. We were linked to him, covered him in a couple of videos, forgot about him until I'd done this video. Looked him up, and he's got one goal to his name so far. Moved to Villarreal for 15 million. He's only had a handful of appearances in the league, to be fair, and he's got the one goal in the league for his new club, Villarreal. But outside looking in, not seen him play since he's gone there, and I have to say, I don't think I'm missing out on too much. But someone we are missing out on a little bit is Hwang. We were initially linked to him in January for a loan move away from Leipzig, and it was touted that he could have been Sebastian Haller's short-term replacement. I would have liked him because I've seen a little bit of him, but he'd come down with coronavirus and it hurt him badly, if you like. It impacted him massively over in Germany. He's gone to Wolves on loan with an option to buy, and I think he's been superb. He's had a couple of quiet games recently, but when he first come in, he just fitted perfectly. He's got that aggression, he presses from the front, and I just think he would have been the perfect fit. I think he would have been a better fit for David Moyes than Edouard, to be honest with you. The only thing preventing him being perfect for Moyes is his height. He's quite short, but I think his style of play suits Moyes to an absolute T. Like I said, he's gone on loan, he's got 4 goals already. Wolves fans are really taken to him. Like I said, a couple of quiet games recently, as is Trincao, and I think it's been overanalyzed by Wolves fans perhaps because he's not going to play that good in every single game. And I think that's the problem when you come in and you get off to an electric start with your new club. You set the expectation, don't you? Fans then expect you to reach that bar every game. So he's dipped for the last 2 or 3 games, and obviously he plays us next, so hopefully he remains on that dip. But I think out of my whole list, I think this is the one signing I'm looking at thinking we've missed a trick here. Because like I said, I'm happy to accept and give West Ham the benefit of the doubt. 14 million for Edouard was maybe a little bit too pricey for us, but Hwang was a loan move, and you're not going to be able to persuade me that that loan move was far too expensive for West Ham, because if that's too expensive, then we simply didn't want a striker as far as I'm concerned. But speaking of loan moves, Rondon went to Everton. Now that's someone, I must confess, I had a bit of a, my Danny Ings striker crush, if you like. Rondon, I had a similar sort of striker crush, if you like, for him when he was at West Brom and Newcastle. And when he was leaving Newcastle, I would have loved him at West Ham. So he went to China. And then we were linked with him, as was Everton. And I remember saying, if he's like a Newcastle player, we'd love him here. But I don't know. I've not watched him in China. It can do funny things to you. Do you know Hwang's performances dip? I'd imagine when you go to China, your performances dip to some extent over there, and it's hard to then get it back. It's looking like the case at Everton. What a flop this guy has been. Like I said, it's only a loan signing, but he's somehow made a loan signing look expensive. No goals so far. He's slow, barely moves. Everton fans hate him already. I think he's a symbol of the way Rafa Benitez plays, and I don't think Everton fans are too keen on the way Rafa Benitez plays football either. Bad transfer. Now, whether we were ever extremely interested in Rondon or any of these players on the list, I'm just going to hypothetically play the game that we were. We've had a lucky escape there because he's rubbish. He's been rubbish for Everton so far. Now, Adam Armstrong is the interesting one. £15 million from the Championship. Only 2 goals to his name so far. And we were linked with him for ages. I actually believed that he was someone that we were serious about getting. There was just far too much smoke around Adam Armstrong as far as West Ham was concerned. And like I said, I hadn't seen loads of him when he was at Blackburn. You can see his goal scoring record. That was there for everybody to see. And you thought, alright, impressive. Went to Southampton to replace, Danny Ings, and I thought, there's no chance he's going to manage to do that. And 2 goals went outside looking in. You think, well, he's not. He's only scored 2 goals. Although one of them was an absolute belter, but it's not quite wow yet. However, when I've watched him play for Southampton, I have to say, I think he's been brilliant. Even against West Ham, 0-0 the game, but I thought his movement was really good. I thought he worked really hard. Will he be as good as Danny Ings was for Southampton? Probably not, but I think he's going to have a very good solid Premier League career for the Saints as well. Am I gutted West Ham never got him? No. And this is where I'm going to be a bit snobby. I think West Ham are almost a level above Adam Armstrong. I think West Ham are currently, a level above Southampton. I think Armstrong's at the right club. I don't think West Ham would have been the right club. Like I said, 2 goals isn't much returns yet, but I do think he will come good for the Saints actually. I remember speaking to a Blackburn fan on the channel, and he put me off getting Adam Armstrong actually. But having watched him, I think his style would have fit the way that West Ham play, the way Moyes plays. It's more, does he have the ability? Because I think all these players, the danger is when you take Antonio out and put one of these in, how big a golfing ability is there between the 2 players? It's not just about fitting the system, it's about having the actual skills and the talent to do it. I'm not sure Adam Armstrong will have it, unlike some other players. Now, Patson Daka, this is the big expensive one, isn't it? 22 million, going to Leicester City, 5 goals, sounds impressive. 4 of the goals were in one of the matches. Europa League, away in Russia, he scored 4 goals for them after scoring against Manchester United the previous weekend as they thumped them. Saying that, I do wish we signed him. It's 22 million, right? I'm going to admit, I said I'm willing to give West Ham benefit of doubt over 14 million. I'm not going to sit here and criticise West Ham for not signing a player for 22 million, but I'm not sure he would fit West Ham either. I think he fits Leicester City perfectly. He's Jamie Vardy, isn't he? The way he plays. It's the exact same as Vardy. He's the perfect signing for Leicester City. The way he plays off the shoulder, the defence, his pace, his movement, his goals, it's exactly like Jamie Vardy. What a player Leicester have got there, and I think 22 million would be an absolute bargain. I would have loved him at West Ham. Like I said, I've never heard of Boulaye Dia. I've never heard of Youssef En-Nesyri before we were linked with him. Yaremchuk, barely ever seen him play. Patson Daka I've seen play a handful of times, but it's one of those players that you just know is going to go on to do good things in football. But like Alexander Isak, when I first saw him, I thought, wow, what a player he is. He's going to have a really good career kind of thing. You just know sometimes, don't you? Patson Daka is one of them. Do I think he's a fantastic signing for Leicester? Yes. Do I think he's an unbelievable player? Yes. Am I gutted he never came to West Ham? Not really. Simply because, well, for the reason stated, I don't think we have that much money, and we've spent the money well enough. Kurt Zouma was the big ticket signing. Would I swap Kurt Zouma for Patson Daka? Not today. Maybe in a couple of years, if you ask me the same question when he's top goal scorer in the Premier League, I might change my answer. But today, I would say no. I think what Moyes done with the transfer kitty so far has been proven correct. But would I swap Daka for Vlasic? Yeah, I would. But he's not Mikel Antonio. He's not the same as Antonio. Maybe that's a good thing. Having an alternative striker, a different style of play would be good. But I just think Leicester's the right club for Daka and not West Ham. Now, Marko Arnautovic, looked to him for a little while, didn't really want him back, and he's done alright. He's gone to Bologna, £3 million. He's gone to Italy for $3 million, 6 goals so far, so he's doing alright. He's still doing the business. I've not seen him play in Serie A, but I've seen him play for Austria, obviously at the Euros, and since his move as well, and he's still got it, doesn't he? He's still got it. I think he would have had something to offer West Ham, but I'm not disappointed we didn't get him, just because I think it's too risky. You know, the one good thing about the club at the minute, about the team, is the morale and stuff. And obviously when you hear of the likes of Mark Noble and that, they speak and basically say that they're still friends with Marco and they've got no issue with Marco and that. But there is an element of me as a West Ham fan that I can't forget. I can't forget what happened, the way it all happened, the fallout from it. And it was just a bit messy. And I just think it would be a bit risky. At the minute, we don't need to take risks. And if we do, and the risks I want to see us take is buying players for 10 million that might or might not make in the Premier League. Certainly not risks in terms of the changing room morale or someone being unhappy with their lack of game time or anything like that. Because that's the difference between if we sign Marko Arnautovic at West Ham, you know, the first time he was guaranteed to start. He played every game. It wouldn't be the case anymore. He'd be on the bench primarily, ideally, and I'm not sure how that would have worked. I am pleased. You know, I've got nothing against him. 3 million is good fee, good value for him. They're getting the returns already, but I'm not disappointed we didn't sign him. Let's put it like that. Now, Tammy Abraham. To be fair, while I was banging on about Edouard, Tammy Abraham I felt would have been a better signing than Edouard in terms of the player, but I think Edouard was the better value, if that makes sense. So I think, if the Edouard and Abraham were the same price, I would have Tammy Abraham every day. But they weren't. Tammy Abraham was 34 million, gone to Roma, 5 goals so far, playing really well. Again, a bit like Hwang, he's dipped a little bit recently, but I still think he's having a really good season over there. And while I always say when West Ham sign a player like Vlasic, which is, well, give them time, you've got to give them time to settle in. You've got to apply the same rule to Tammy Abraham going to Roma, going to Italy. I think he's done fantastic. He's sort of England's second choice striker now. I think he'd have been a brilliant signing for West Ham, actually. I do. I think 34 million would have eventually looked like a good price, a fair price for him. And to do my hypothetical thing, would I swap him for Zuma and 10 million? Would I swap him for Vlasic and 7 million? Possibly at the minute. Obviously, I'm aware before someone says Vlasic will come good, he probably will. But at the minute, I would have taken the trade, if you want. I was disappointed when Abraham went to Roma, actually. I thought it was a bit lack of ambition from West Ham. And at the time, we hadn't signed Kurt Zuma before anyone says anything. I'm obviously happy now we signed Zuma. I've always liked the Zuma signing. But at the time, we hadn't really splashed the cash. And Tammy Abraham was on the move. And I just felt like West Ham were missing a trick back then. I thought this guy will, for the next season or two, battle out with Antonio and sort of provide a different attacking option because he's a different player. But I felt the way we played would suit Tammy to some extent. So he would have to adapt a little bit. But that's not a bad thing. And I just thought he would have come in and been an immediate success, and it's a risk-free transfer, I felt, and I still do feel that way. Am I gutted we didn't get him? Not anymore, but at the time I certainly was. Now Danny Ings, 25 million. I never believed we were after him. I never believed West Ham were after Danny Ings because it's just bad value, and it doesn't really tick the profile box that David Moyes is trying to buy at West Ham. I do believe Moyes is trying to buy players that have got their best years ahead of them. Danny Ings is either living his best years or had it last season or two, and I just think it didn't make any sense. 25 million as well is a massive fee. Never believed we were interested in him, but we're linked plenty. And I think it was just an easy link, which is West Ham need a striker. Ings has got a year to go in his contract, plays in Premier League, let's just link him up. He's gone to Villa, got 3 goals so far. He's not been a flop as such, but it's not been great, is it? It'll be interesting to see what Steven Gerrard does with Danny Ings, because he's obviously got Ollie Watkins there. Will he play 2 up front? Will he put Watkins on the wing and play Ings up front? I think Danny Ings is going to find himself in trouble, actually. I think Ings may very well find himself on the bench a bit more at Villa Park than he was anticipating, and Ollie Watkins will be used as the lone striker under Steven Gerrard. So did West Ham make a mistake not signing Danny Ings? Absolutely not. And as a Danny Ings connoisseur, as a Danny Ings fan, I didn't want to see him at West Ham, not for 25 million anyway. Now YAREMCHUK, 15 million, 4 goals so far at Benfica. He's doing it for Ukraine as well, and I've still not seen him play very much. I seen him at the Euros. He didn't look very good, did he? He looked okay, actually. Scrap that. In the Euros, I thought he looked fantastic. There was 1 or 2 games I caught of Ukraine, and I thought his link up with Yarmolenko was unbelievable. I thought they were like Do you know some players just can play really well together? They've got a really good understanding. YAREMCHUK had that understanding at the Euros. Every time he made a run, Yarmolenko knew where to give him the ball and vice versa. But I'm never going to base sort of my perception of a player off a competition. I think it's different. Yeah, I think club football and international football is completely different for various different reasons. The style of the play, the refereeing of the game, the fact that you play at the Euros in particular, you play 3 games in about 10 days or something. In club football, it's generally 1 a week. Obviously, European football is a bit different. But you know what I'm trying to say? I think the Euros is a completely different environment to club football, and I'm never going to judge my opinion of a player off the back of a competition that happens once every 4 years. And I know there's a World Cup in between, so on and so forth. It doesn't really matter though, does it? My opinion doesn't change. You know, Ukraine may qualify for the World Cup playoffs tonight, but 15 million for YAREMCHUK, not gutted about that at all. But like I said, I've not really seen him play, so it's a bit like the Boulaye Dia thing. Can't really give an opinion on the player, but outside looking in, I'm alright missing out on him. Now, Olivier Giroud was the interesting one, weren't it? We're linked to him for about 4 seasons now. Went to AC Milan for around about £1 million, and he scored 4 goals so far. He's sort of in and out the team. Him and Zlatan, the 2 codgers up front for AC Milan. They've got some youth around them. And I've seen a little bit of AC Milan this season, actually. And Giroud looks alright. He's still got it, hasn't he? I don't just mean the modelling thing. He's still got that as well. He still looks like he's been chiselled. But as a striker, he's still got it. However, Serie A is a bit slower, isn't it? The pace in Italy is a little bit different to the Premier League. I think he'd been an okay alternative for West Ham, but in terms of counter-attacking football, I don't know if I'd like to have seen Giroud leading the counter-attack, for example. So I'm not too disappointed we missed out on him. His wages, of course, would be hefty as well, and it's just the wrong time of his career. Like I said, he's had a fantastic career. I would have loved him at West Ham a couple of seasons ago. But not anymore. 34 years old. Let him have his time in AC Milan. He's having a good time as well. Youssef En-Nesyri, he didn't move. He remained where he is in Sevilla. We were linked to him heavily. 5 goals so far this season, so he's still doing the business. And Moyes confirmed that we did bid for him in January, so we know this is a striker that West Ham tried to sign. I've still not watched him play. I feel like I should. You know when Sevilla's on, West Ham aren't on, so it's European football nights or whatever, and Sevilla's playing. Part of me does think maybe I should just stick it on and watch Youssef En-Nesyri, but I can't. I also have to watch the English team in the European competition, unless there's a tasty European tie on like Dortmund and Ajax or something. I'll watch that instead. But I've never seen Sevilla playing and thought, got to tune into the Sevilla game tonight. Never done it. So En-Nesyri, he didn't move. Still not seen him play. Origi didn't move either. He scored 3 goals so far this season, 2 in the League Cup for Liverpool and 1 in the Premier League against West Ham. Some goal it was too, weren't it? We were linked to him heavily, and I think we will be again in January. His playing time is dwindling at Anfield. His contract's dwindling at Anfield. He'll be on the move at some point. Would I take him at West Ham? Yeah. Do I think we were wrong not to sign him in summer? Depends on the price, isn't it? This is the difference between... I've got one more player. This is the difference between En-Nesyri, Origi. The next guy is you don't know what the price is, so you don't even have the benefit of hindsight anymore. You can speak about how they've maybe messed up not moving, but you can look at Edouard for 14 million and Daka for 22 and decide if it's good value or not. You don't have that perception with these players. And Nketiah is the other player. 2 goals for Arsenal this season, both coming in the League Cup. Barely getting a sniff under Arteta in the Premier League. Understandably so. Lacazette up front, Aubameyang up front. Martinelli can play in that role if they need to. Pepe if they really, really must. And I get the impression Arteta would almost really, really must play Pepe up front than play Eddie Nketiah. And I think that says quite a lot. I'm not disappointed he's not at West Ham. If he comes, we know his contract's running out at Arsenal. If we got him for a really low fee, I think it becomes a bit risk-free, doesn't it? But, you pay $2 million a season to have a player on loan, so why would you not pay $2 million for a player that may or may not be good enough over an 18-month contract or something? So I think I wouldn't be surprised to see Nketiah or Origi lock up at West Ham, whether in January or in the summer. But for now, they remain where they are. And I have to say, I think those players have probably made an error not moving in the summer. If the opportunity was there for them, And it felt like Nketiah decided to stay at Arsenal to give it one more chance, a bit like what Jesse did at Man United. And I think that's been a bad decision, so I expect them to be on the move. But anyway, there you have it. There's the players that I remember we were linked with. We're linked with loads more, but the video is already 20 minutes long. There's only so much I could go into. But the ones I'm disappointed by: Edouard for 40 million and Hwang on a loan. Them two are the two that I look back at the most so far this season. Think, wish West Ham got them. I wish West Ham got them. I think they would have fitted at what Moyes plays, West Ham plays. I think they would have been a good alternative and replacement to Michail Antonio. I think they could even play with Michail Antonio. Both of these players have shown that. You know, Hwang's not a traditional number 9. You know, Jimenez is up front for Wolves and Hwang plays to the side of him, just like Edouard's been playing to the side of Benteke. So I think it would have ticked, them two players in particular would have ticked a lot of boxes for David Moyes. 14 million in a loan fee. I think there would have been good value as well, really. So yes, while I do think we should have signed a striker in the summer, I think we should sign one in January. Those are the two players I look back at already and think we've missed out there a little bit. And while one of them may have been too expensive, he certainly wasn't unavailable. Bit disappointing, really. But anyway, when you're top of the group stage of the Europa League, when you're third in the Premier League and you're in quarter-final League Cup, can't really grumble too much, can you? Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, like I said, it's a little bit different, international break and all that. Drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I shall catch you in a bit. Ta-da!